achieved.
What is up, everybody, and welcome in to Studio De Jeffrey, home of, what's that guy's name? Joe Exotic, the Tiger Lion King. Home of the Anteater King. As you can see, I got rid of the handlebar today. Mustache will probably go tomorrow. Quarantine makes you do weird things. But hey, the Cowboys got Aldon Smith. How about that, huh? Do you like that? Do you like that? I do. I don't know if you guys have seen the actual details on the Aldon Smith contract, but if you have, it would be really hard to say that there's anything negative about this whatsoever. So Aldon Smith, who's Aldon Smith? Once upon a time, he's a guy who had 19 and a half sacks in a season, his second year with San Francisco. Jim Tom Sula was there with Aldon Smith, so Jim Tom Sula, most likely the guy that was fighting for this and said, hey, we need to go. Aldon Smith, his contract, base salary, $910,000. He gets just over $40,000 every time he's active on the game day roster. That adds up to $650,000. And then he has incentives that total $2 million if he gets 14 sacks in a season. 8 sacks will get him $500,000. 10 sacks will get him $1 million. 12 is $1.5 million. It all equals out to a one-year deal worth up to $4 million with nothing guaranteed. So if anybody wants to hate on this signing, shut it! Because there's nothing to hate. There's nothing guaranteed here. And to make any sort of money, he has to sack the quarterback a ton. So what's the deal with Aldon Smith? Aldon Smith has had all sorts of off-the-field problems, a lot of them involving driving while impaired in one way or another. Story from Jay Glazer is that Aldon Smith is now clean and sober and returning to the NFL. And if that's the case, then this is a classic Jerry Jones, giving a guy a second chance, although in this case it would be more like a 6th or 7th chance. But, hey, I'm on team second chance. I'm on team 7th chance, especially if there's something in the life circumstances you can point to that brings you optimism. And in the case of a guy who appeared to have a drinking problem, being now clean and sober, allegedly, then that's a change in circumstance. That could make a significant difference. So Aldon Smith, man, back in his day, now, we'll get to that in a second. Back in his day, until Nick Bosa came along a year ago, had the most pressures of any rookie in the pro football focus era. So Aldon Smith's got a gift. That dude can get to the quarterback. That dude could get to the quarterback even while he had other things going on. Now, how big is the challenge of not having played in the NFL in 4 years? It's big. We've talked about Randy Gregory and saying I do think he gets out of bed and can rush the passer. I think the same is probably also true of Aldon Smith. But still, years off of the game, what does this mean for the Cowboys' draft plans? Nada. I think it means nothing. Randy Gregory, if he gets reinstated, Aldon Smith, who, by the way, still has to be reinstated too. If they get reinstated, that's awesome. And there's the potential, however unlikely, for some kick-ass pass rush coming from the Cowboys. Imagine lining up Aldon Smith and Randy Gregory and Tank Lawrence and Gerald McCoy as your 4-man rush. That's fun. So the Aldon Smith signing is mostly a nothing, with the potential of a grand slam. There's literally nothing to dislike about this. It's awesome. If it works out for him, that would be great. I'll be pulling for him, and I'm pulling for him to be able to go out there and get 6 to 8 sacks. I'm pulling for Randy Gregory to get reinstated and go out there and get 6 to 8 sacks. And if everything's perfect, sure, you would alter your draft plan. If you said, hey, I promise you Aldon Smith is going to be perfect, he's going to play 16 games, and he's in football shape. Randy Gregory's going to play 16 games. He's in football shape. And Tyrone Crawford's going to be on the roster, and he's going to be healthy. He's going to play 16 games. I'd say you don't need a right end. You're good. You're ready to rock and roll this year. But counting on those things would be silly. Hoping for those things, that's the fun of sports. So I will hope for those things. I'll hope for Randy Gregory. I'll hope for Aldon Smith. And if you have them both, it's going to be a lot of fun. But you're going to draft the same way you were going to draft. You're still only missing one starter on this team. You're missing a third wide receiver. Broadus mentioned yesterday that maybe people on the coaching staff like Cedric Wilson, and that's cool. That's cool. And you could survive with Jarwin and Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup, and if it's Cedric Wilson. But I think that'll be coming in the draft. There's going to be something coming in the draft to add to this wide receiver core. And now we will go to the questions from you guys, which, of course, leave in the comments on my YouTube page, youtube.com/Jeff Kavanaugh. And that is how I will generate some content for you gentlemen and ladies. Here we have the question, which multiple people have asked. Jacob says, how optimistic are you on a trade for safety Jamal Adams? I think the odds are near zero. I'm not sure why that popped back up. I saw Fish talking about it, how it was like, sure, if the asking price comes down from the Jets or if they put him on the block, then I'm sure the Cowboys, sure, they were interested. I'm sure they would circle back on that. The question I would ask is, what would you be willing to give up for Jamal Adams? Because what they wanted was insane and was never going to happen. But if they would take 17, would you do that? Just the Cowboys' first-round pick? For me, maybe. That would have to be an on-the-clock trade because I'd have to get to 17 because Jamal Adams is a great player. He's probably going to reset the market for safeties. That's probably what he wants, $17, $18 million a year. So if the right guy were there in the draft at 17, and in my case, that would be for secondary guys. Okudah won't be there, but if C.J. Henderson, the Florida corner, is there, I'll take him rather than flip that pick for Jamal Adams. Reason being, that would be a very affordable corner for 5 years over a safety who would not be affordable at all. I mean, you could afford him, but it's the difference of $18 million versus $1 million or $2 million. So I will pay a cornerback 9 times less than I'll pay that strong safety. And he's a great player. He's an incredible player. He's a Pro Bowler, all-pro. Jamal Adams is great. And I'd think about it. But depending who's on the board, I probably wouldn't give up 17 for Jamal Adams. I would think about it. Rex Morgan, it's official. Hot Boys have a new name, the Over the Hill Gang. They do have some old guys on that D-line. Poe, McCoy, Tank's starting to creep up there. Aldon Smith is now over 30. Nice joke, Rex. What are your thoughts on the Cowboys signing Aldon Smith? We did that. Do you think they completely move away from drafting edge in the first? We did that. No, I don't. If there's a defensive end that they like in the first round, if a defensive end is at the top of your board when you're on the clock, you pick him. It's just what you do. Because that's the other thing. Where's the guy who was asking about the defensive tackles? It was, here, Greg. We're not drafting Derek Brown. We have Gerald McCoy and Dontari Poe. Why would we draft another D tackle? Probably because Gerald McCoy's over 30. Dontari Poe is 30. Neither one of those guys are long for this NFL world of being really good players. And at 17, Derek Brown would be the best player on your board. And do you think that defensive tackles are playing 100% of snaps? First of all, he's better than both of them today. So that would be part of the reason. And so now you've got guys you can rotate in, which you're already going to have. Do you want to be rotating in Antoine Woods and Tristan Hill? Or do you want to be rotating in Derek Brown and Gerald McCoy and Dontari Poe? If Derek Brown made 17, you pick him. And if you don't pick him, we got problems. If Cowboys were to re-engage in talks for Jamal Adams, what would you give up to the Jets? Second round pick, easy. How about this year's 2 and next year's 2, where you'll have comp picks to play with, where you can move around in the draft, a 2 and a 2? I'd think about 17. It just depends who's available for me. If it's 17, I can get Kinlaw or C.J. Henderson or one of the top 3 receivers in this draft. I'm not moving for a really highly paid strong safety. And I would love to have Jamal Adams on the team. But he'll make 10 times what your draft pick at that spot makes. So I'd have to be wiped out of the guys that I really want at that spot. And then, sure, give you 17. Van, if need be, would you trade up a few spots to get C.J. Henderson? No, I would not. I would trade up. I would only trade up for my guys that are in tier 1. I don't know if you guys have seen that video, but you can go back in my video history and find it. I would only move up for tier 1. And my tier 1 prospects are Chase Young, Jeff Okudah, Isaiah Simmons, CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, and Derek Brown. And Derek Brown, I'd have to think about it. I give up my 1 and my 2 for Derek Brown. He's a nose tackle, but he's also more than a nose tackle. He's a monster. So, yeah, those 6 I would give up. I would give up my 1 and something else. If any one of those became a potential for them to pick, I'd go for it. With Henderson, no. I would just wait and be ready to trade back and then grab a different corner in that draft and hopefully add picks. Jeff, I want to know the top 5 prospects you think fit best with the Cowboys in the first round. McCarthy likes Pro Football Focus. Would he use their grades as a resource when drafting? I hope not. Pro Football Focus, there's people I like over there, and I love their premium stats. The numbers are great. I don't use their grading because I have seen, I know the Cowboys, right? I watch tape of every Cowboy game. If I wanted to do a 1 to 100 grade scale on every player every game, that would take a lot of time. My grades wouldn't agree with their grades. Therefore, I don't use their grades. I just watch it. The one thing I'll use their grades for, and I think Fish said this on the show the other day, I appreciate the effort. I really do. The idea of we're going to give you a number grade for literally every player in pro football. The idea is great if the same person is grading every single player and he's an expert at every position and he's familiar with the schemes that the teams are running and knows the responsibility of every player on every play. But it's an impossible task because football is just too hard. It's too hard to be able to do that. The one time I'll at least look at their grades is if you're talking about a team that you're not familiar with at all and you haven't really watched them and you just want to get a quick overview, because I bet if they have a guy graded as a 90, I bet he doesn't suck. So I could at least hope that they're in the ballpark, because it's only been a few times where I've seen guys that I thought they were dead balls wrong on. But for the most part, if a guy has a really high grade, yes, he's a good player. The bad players, do they have low grades? Yeah, mostly. So I'll glance at them, but if it's teams that I've watched or studied, then I don't need their grades. I'll take their stats, though. I love the stats. The top 5 prospects you think fit best with the Cowboys in the first round. C.J. Henderson, Florida corner, fits a huge need of theirs. They got to find corners for the long term. I think trading back is where all your great fits are, because a great fit would be a first-round corner. A great fit, God, one of those first-round receivers would be a great fit. Henry Ruggs would be a great fit. Henry Ruggs would be a phenomenal fit. That speed, trading back and getting Jalen Reagor would be a great fit. Justin Jefferson would be a great fit. Anybody that you want to line up in the slot to threaten the defense would be a great fit. Javon Kinlaw is a great fit. Defensive end is where I struggle because I don't love them. I don't love Chason is a ballsy pick in the top 17, which could pay off big time, but it's a ballsy pick. Epinesa, ballsy pick in the top 17. Could pay off, ballsy. Yetur Gross-Matos, ballsy pick in the top 17. That's just where I am with the pass rusher. So without a trade back, I would not say that any of them is a great fit for the Cowboys at 17. The linebackers, not really. The offensive tackles, not really. That's my problem, is I run out of the guys that I want to pick there if I don't get Kinlaw, Derek Brown, C.J. Henderson to make it to 17. I'm running out of guys I want to pick there, and I want to move back. Okay. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you on G-Bag Nation today. Remember to check 1053thefan.com every day. Remember to subscribe to the YouTube page, youtube.com/Jeff Kavanaugh. Leave in the comments what you want to talk about tomorrow, and I will catch y'all on the radio.